Hey, what's up everyone? It's the Tastemaker. Welcome to my YouTube channel if you're new. And if you're an oldie but goodie, hey boo, welcome back to the channel, boo. Girl, let me tell you about this date I went on. I'm getting right into it. Okay, so first of all, as you guys know, dating in 2017/2018 is a fucking mess. Hopefully in the year 2018, I have a lovely little situation going on. But as of right now, it just be some bull. So I want to tell you guys about this date that I went on. That was freaking insane. Like literally the worst date I have ever been on in my entire life. Like I'm 25 years old. The worst date ever. And I'm so glad that I can live to tell the story, and I'm about to tell y'all exactly why in just a moment. Because this fool flew through the damn windshield. Now let me tell you about it. So a couple of weeks ago, I was actually dropping my best friend off, and when I dropped her off, I was driving back home. And on my way home, you know, I'm driving in traffic, listening to my music as I do, you know, just chilling. You know what I'm saying? Turn up by myself, turn up. And, you know, this young gentleman, you know, he pulls up on the side of me. Mind you, I'm in a turning lane. He's in the regular lane to go straight. Okay, I'm in a turning lane, boom. So I'm listening to my music or whatever, chilling. He pulls up on the side of me. So, you know, I roll my window down because I see I got some attention. So I'm like, hey, you know, let me see who's this. So I pull up on the side. You know, I don't even see his car. I just see him. He's kind of attractive. You know what I'm saying? He's a young, you know, like chocolatey kind of dude. He got nice little waves and stuff. I'm like, oh, you know, I like that. Hello. So anyway, he like, hey, you know, it was like, he's like, take my number down or whatever. And I'm just like, aggressive. I'm like, well, I gotta go. Cause my light had just turned green. I'm like, oh, I gotta go. I was like, follow me. So he followed me. So I'm driving, I'm turning, and I see he gets behind me. He follows me and he pulls on the side of me. There's no traffic on the street that we're on now. So he was like, oh, you know, what's your name? With the woo woo. We had to exchange the numbers quick, obviously, because we're in traffic. So he was like, so what you doing later? I'm like, I'm not really sure, because it was like on a Saturday or something like that. It was like Saturday morning, maybe about like, well, not morning. It would have to be in the afternoon. So I don't know, but it was Saturday, and you know, he was asking me what I was doing later. I was like, oh, I'm not really sure. I'm not really doing much. He was like, all right, well, I'm gonna hit you later and I'm gonna try to link up with you. So I'm like, okay, you know what I'm saying? But this time I actually see his car. So now, girl, he got a bomb car. Okay, I'm like, okay, young baller out here. I'm pulling young ballers out here. Okay, that's cute or whatever. But yeah, girl, he had a cute little Jaguar. So I'm like, and it's not an old Jaguar. It was a new Jaguar. I think it was like an XF or something like that. I think it was an XF. But it was a really nice Jaguar. It's new. So I'm like, okay, well, he young. So he must be like, you know, he must be doing something. I don't know what he doing, but he doing something because he got this brand new nice car. So I'm interested. I'm trying to see. Okay. But I was at first interested in him. Like I said, I didn't even see his car at first. I only seen like him and the side of his car, but I didn't see what kind of car he had at first. So I didn't talk to him just for his car. I actually talked to him because I thought he was attractive. So anyway, so I drive home. You know, I'm enjoying the rest of my evening. And then, you know, he hits me up later, and then he's like, oh, he was like, you know, do you mind like meeting me at my house? And I'm like, okay, well, that's different for me. I'm usually used to a guy picking me up, but it's fine because I don't necessarily need every guy that I'm talking to know where I live. So I'm like, that's perfectly fine. I don't mind meeting up with the young man. So anyway, he texts me and he's like, oh, you know what? Well, I got to go handle this situation real quick with my friend. He left his phone in my car. Long story short, so he was going to take the phone back to his friend. And then he was going to tell me when to meet him at his house when he gets back towards his house. So he sent me the address or whatever later on in the day. And, you know, I'm wearing something regular. I didn't dress up. I had like literally a regular outfit on. Nothing special. I had some, I'll tell you exactly what I had. A leather jacket, some Jordans, leggings, and a bodysuit. Something real simple. And yeah, it was a little motorcycle jacket. So it's something real simple, right? So yeah, so anyway, he gave me his address later on. I meet him at his house or whatever. So Girl, the first thing that I want to tell you guys is this. When you are talking to somebody, have them step out of the car. If you're talking to them in the car, have them step out of the car so you can get the full picture of what it is that you're getting yourself into. Because when I got out of my car, when I put up to his house or whatever, I got out of my car and he met me at my car, I was like, what the fuck is this? Girl, the shape of his body was off, okay? Like, he was one of them guys that you can tell he used to be big, but he got small. So the upper part of his body is a lot bigger than the lower part of his body. The lower part of his body is looking a little skinny. He got like skinny legs, a big person, used to be body getting slim with a little cuppage. You know what I'm saying? He had a little cuppage going on, boo. And I was like, I don't know if I like that, but okay, I'm gonna give it a chance. So I'm like, I'm already here, so I'm not about to leave. I mean, he's not ugly, but the shape of his body is a little off to me. So, and he had some sweatpants on, a thin Hanes t-shirt that was all wrinkled up. I'm like, I understand you in your house clothes, but you know I was coming over here, so you should have been some kind of presentable. Speaking of that, so we walk and he's like, oh, you know, I gotta get ready. And I'm thinking to myself, like, boy, how you gonna have me? First of all, you had me drive over here, which is a no-no to begin with. I don't drive to meet nobody, but I don't necessarily want you to know where I live at anyway, because what if I don't like you? Which I ended up not liking him, but we'll get to that later. But yeah, so I'm like, what the hell? So I'm like, all right, well, I'm already here. So I'm like, fuck it. All right, well, get ready. Do what you got to do. Just make it quick. So anyway, we walk into his house and he stays in a studio apartment. Now, I'm not hating on that at all. If you stay in a studio apartment, it's just you anyway. So it don't really matter. I don't really care if you have a 1-bedroom or not. You have somewhere to stay. That's cool. So I'm like, okay. So I'm like, I couldn't sit on his couch because he did have a couch there, but he had a bunch of shit on it. So I couldn't sit on his couch. So I just sat on his bed. So I'm sitting on his bed. He's like, you know, all right, you know, I'm about to just take a shower real quick. He was like, what do you want to eat? And I'm like, well, I'm not really sure. He was like, all right, well, have you ever been to Pink Taco? And I'm like, no, I've never been there, but I've actually seen it a lot. So, you know, I love Mexican food. That's like my favorite kind of food, by the way. So, pointers. So I'm like, okay, yeah, we can go there. So I'm looking at the place or whatever. He goes to take a shower. He gets dressed or whatever. And, you know, the way he dressed was fine. So I'm like, okay, he dressed fine. He not dusty or nothing. He knew how to put himself together. He had a nice little outfit. And so before we leave, this fool tells me, I don't even know how this conversation even came about, to be honest. But this fool gonna tell me, like, yeah, you know, I'm out on bail right now, so, you know, I can't really drive. Like, can we drive your car? Like, can you drive us there? And I'm thinking to myself, what the fuck? Drive us there? I'm like, absolutely not. I put my foot down. I'm like, absolutely not. I'm not driving us there. No, so, no, I'm not driving us there. So he's like, all right, well, you know, it's just because, you know, I got into this little incident or whatever, so, you know, I can't really drive my car at night like that because, you know, the boys be on me. And I'm just thinking to myself, like, okay, what are you out on bail for? Like, what the hell? He like, yeah, I gotta go to jail, like, at the end of this month or whatever, because, like, I got into this situation. He was like, you know how they had a takeover? Now, for those of you guys who are not familiar with the takeover, if you're in LA, you probably already know. So one thing that we do here in LA, where a lot of dumbass guys like to do here in LA, is they get their cars and they drive them in a circle, burning rubber, causing all kind of fumes to go everywhere, and everyone loves it, and they try not to get hit by this damn car doing donuts in the middle of the street. That's what the takeover pretty much is. It's all the niggas in LA get together, get their cars together, they little burner cars. I don't know what they do with them cars, but they get those cars and they ride around in circles for hours. So basically it is illegal, okay? And he got caught up, and basically he said, this is the story he told me, girl. He gonna say, oh, you know, I was driving and I was at the takeover. I was driving, right? Then I get on the freeway. All of a sudden, I notice a helicopter light is on me on the freeway. And there's police behind me. And then, you know what I'm saying, they pulled me over. I went to jail. I got arrested, but I'm out on bail now. What the fuck? First of all, nothing about that story sounds true. He probably was being chased, but it wasn't for nothing. A helicopter is not going to choose you out of all the cars that are there. There's So when anybody who knows about the takeover, you know how many cars is there? They single you out. And I understand they probably like, oh, we got one, because we know you're not supposed to be there anyway. But still, like, what are the chances of them being that extra, following you with helicopters? You get what I'm saying? So obviously you were running from the police because you didn't want to get caught, because you probably was doing something you wasn't supposed to be doing, and that's why you got arrested, and that's why you're going to jail at the end of the month. So I'm thinking to myself, first of all, this is the first red flag, and I was so irritated at this point, but I'm like, okay. For some reason, I continued and I stayed, and I was like, okay. He was like, no, it's cool, all right then, I'm gonna just drive my car, you know, hopefully they don't mess with me. So I'm like, yeah, hopefully they don't, because I'm thinking to myself, like, if I'm getting in my car, I'm driving back home, pretty much. I'm not driving us anywhere. I'm driving back home. Are you gonna pay for my gas? Like, no, what the hell? So anyway, we get in the car, we're driving, and then he's like, while we're driving, he's like, hey, you know, do you pop pills? And I'm like, nah, I don't pop pills. And he's like, oh, well, you know, I'm on a Percocet right now. I'm like, oh, why are you on a Percocet right now? Why are you driving with me high? And you just said you had you out on bail right now, and you worried about the police coming to get you, and you high? What the fuck? And I just don't understand, like, these new kids today, and I'm gonna say why I say he's a kid in a minute, because he was younger than me. This was another red flag that I should have known, but I was trying to give him a chance, because I'm like, yeah, you know, I already didn't give him my number, whatever. He younger. He wasn't like a teenager. He was in his 20s, but he was just a younger 20-year-old. Yeah, he said he high on damn Percocet, and I'm just like, oh, okay, well, you know, I don't mess with pills like that, you know what I'm saying? So, you know, more for you, because I don't want none. While we're driving, he proceeds to inform me, mind you, he's driving crazy, so I told him he need to like slow down, because I'm like, look, no. He then proceeds to tell me about this scar on the side of his face. Now, his scar, my nose is itching. So now this scar that he has on his face is just like a little scar right here, and then he has something like in this area, but I wasn't really sure what it was or how to describe that. It wasn't necessarily a burn, but maybe like a scrape, maybe something like that, like his face scraped on something. It looked like cheese grater went across his face a little bit, but it's just a little tiny section like that. So I wasn't really tripping off of it, but he told me, he was like, you know, last year I was in a car accident, and I'm like, oh, you know, I'm sad to hear that, you know, like, well, at least you're okay. What happened? So he proceeds to tell me, he's like, oh, you know, that's how I got this scar right here, because I was in a car accident. He was like, I was driving one day, and I got, you know, I flew out of the windshield. What? You flew out of a windshield? That's how you got that scar? You flew yourself out of a windshield. So that means you were driving so crazy or so fast that when you stopped, you flew out of the car, meaning that you did not even have a seatbelt on. If you did, you must not have had it tight enough, boo, because you flew out the damn car. Girl, I said, girl, man, I wanted so bad to go home at this point. I was just so over it. I'm like, so wait, you out on bail, you driving crazy already, you're high on a Percocet, and you flew out of the car last year. That's why you have a scar on the side of your face. And I could tell like his front teeth was like fake, like he got porcelain veneers or something to fix it. I could tell his teeth were like fake in the front. So I'm just thinking like, oh honey, nuh-uh. I have been in car accidents before. Anybody that knows me knows I have been in car accidents before, and I be paranoid as hell when other people be driving me. I've gotten better, but when I was younger, I hated driving with people because I was scared I was always gonna get into an accident. And you're telling me this, and you're driving. Now I'm thinking like, well, hell, I might as well have drove. You telling me all of this? I'm just like, girl, this is too much. I'm like, word. So I'm sitting here acting concerned, but really I'm concerned about myself, like, and my own well-being. Like, I need to get out of this car. I need to go home. Damn, a pink taco. Shit. So anyway, we finally get down to Sunset, which is where the pink taco is located. And when I say it was hot, now some of y'all know what I mean by hot, so let me explain for the ones who don't know. It was hot over there, meaning that it was a lot of police out over there. it was a lot. It was hot, okay? The block was hot, okay? So it was police everywhere. I'm like, oh, paranoid. Like, I'm like, oh, I hope they don't pull him over, because this is a black man driving, a young black man at that, driving in this nice, you know, Jaguar. And then he put rims on it, because, you know, black men always got to put rims on something. So he had these big old rims on there. And I'm just like, oh my God, please don't let us get pulled over. So we didn't end up getting pulled over, because it was a time or two where it was some police behind us, but they didn't pull us over. So I was like, thank God. So we get to the restaurant, we park or whatever, and there wasn't really like a valet. They did have valet, but it was like they was parking in the same parking lot we was in, so it was like no point in doing valet. So he parked in there. So we walk in the restaurant or whatever, and they seat us. And when they sat us down, I was so like not happy with where they sat us, because we were literally like in the corner. Like, okay, so the restaurant, you know how restaurants have the part where it's outside as well, so you're outside but you're still within the restaurant, you get what I'm saying? They had us there in the corner, like right in front where people walk in. Okay, I don't really want to be where there's a lot of foot traffic. I know that we're in a restaurant, there's going to be foot traffic in general, but I don't want to be right in front of the restaurant in the corner right there. That's just not where I'm trying to be. So I was kind of irritated by that. And then the seating was like so tight, so I was like literally squeezing in to get into the booth. Like it was too much for me. So I didn't really like where we were sitting at, but I didn't make a big deal about it. I didn't have them move us or anything, but the whole time I'm thinking like, I really don't want to be sitting here, but I'm going to deal with it. And so I'm looking at the menu, and he comes out of his nasty little mouth and gonna say, so how many niggas are you talking to? Girl, the date was over. Okay, by this time the date has been over. I'm over it. I'm never calling you again, deleting, blocking you. I wish I drove my car so I could drive the fuck off right now and leave. He asked me, how many niggas are you talking to? And I'm not sugarcoating nothing. He literally said that exact same thing to me. How many niggas are you talking to? I was just thinking to myself, I just laughed like, I'm like, why? Why do you want to know? He was like, oh, I just want to know, you know, how many people you dealing with. You a pretty girl. I just feel like you talking to a lot of dudes. I'm like, well, I'm not talking to a lot of dudes. Okay. So then he's like, so he was like, but you are talking to somebody. I'm like, yeah, you know, I'm dating right now. Yeah. So he's like, so what do you like about these guys? Do they look better than me? What they look like? And I'm like, what? What do they look like? Are they better than you? I'm just like, I don't really want to go into that. Like, he was like, well, you know what I'm saying? I'm just trying to get to know you. And I'm just like, well, getting to know me and getting to know who I'm talking to is two different things. Like, if you want to get to know me, then, you know what I mean? Like, knowing how many people I'm talking to and if they're better than you seems like you just want to know if you have competition. That's pretty much what you got out of that. It has nothing to do with you wanting to know me. You want to know if you have competition. And at the end of the day, I feel like if you're dating off top, you should already know that the other person is also dating other people, is also talking to other people. And if they are, it is not an issue at all. And I'm not going to ask a man, how many females are you talking to? Do they look better than me? Because I don't really want to know the answer to that. Because if you're honest with me and tell me that the girls look better than me, then I'm going to be feeling some kind of way. But even then, it's still like you're dating. So I don't really care. I might not even want to keep you around. She could probably have you. I don't want you. You know what I'm saying? So that was crazy to me. And then he was like, you know, so what's your Instagram? He's like asking me this after, like one after the other. He is like on a roll. I'm like, did you have this shit written down and you're going through your list, checking it off? How many niggas? Check. Do they look better than me? Check. You know, Instagram? Check. Like, what? So he's asking me, you know, I'm trying to look at the menu this whole time. So then he goes and says, he's like, so you know what you want yet? I'm like, no, I haven't been here before. So I don't know what I want yet. Like, what? So he asked me about my Instagram or whatever. He was like, what's your Instagram? I want to see you on Instagram. I bet you be having a lot of niggas all in your comments with you. And I'm just like, well, I'm not really on Instagram like that. And he's like, well, you're not on Instagram like that. He was like, that's weird. That's weird. I'm like, how is that weird? He was like, how you don't be on Instagram like that? I'm like, I'm not on Instagram. Like, I don't know exactly how to answer that. How are you not on Instagram like that? So the date proceeds. I get my food. I'm eating. And he keeps asking me questions like while I'm eating. So I couldn't even finish eating my food. I ended up taking most of it to go. I couldn't even really enjoy my meal. I was cold on the outside. He was irritating the hell out of me with his questions. And I understand, like, there's certain things that you want to get to know about someone, but there are certain things that I don't feel are appropriate to ask on a first date. And you guys let me know, were those things okay? Would you have been okay with any of that? You know what I'm saying? And if you are, boo-boo, I think you need to raise your standards, boo-boo, because there's certain things that I don't feel like people should be so comfortable to ask you on a first date. I mean, even if we are talking, I still don't think it's appropriate for you to ask me how many people I'm talking to, especially not in that way, because I don't really feel like you really want to know the answer to that. If I told you I was talking to 18 people, then what? If I told you I was talking to 2 people, if I told you I was talking to 1 person, like, what does it matter? You should just be focused about what you're doing and what we got going on. When I'm with you, I'm with you. And when I'm not with you, I'm not with you. It's simple. We're dating. Hello. Then we leave from the restaurant. Oh, you thought the story was over? No, it's not over. It gets worse. It gets worse. It gets worse. So anyway, we leave from the restaurant. I have my little doggy bag or whatever. It was like kind of like awkward silence in some parts because I just really wasn't like feeling him. I just kept like nervously laughing, not really answering any of his questions. I never answered none of his questions. So then we leave from the restaurant, we get in a car, whatever, we're driving, and he pulls over at a gas station. And I'm like, okay, what are you about to do? He pulls over at this gas station and he proceeds to light up a cigarette. Oh my God. I hate, when I say hate, I mean that I hate cigarettes with a passion. Cigarette K, okay? I don't like cigarettes at all. I hate them. So he lights up this cigarette and I'm just like, can you not like smoke around me? I'm not really, like, I really don't like cigarettes. Like, can you like, you know, I don't really want you to smoke with me in the car. So he's like, all right, fine. So he gets out of the car, he smokes his nasty ass cigarette and he gets back in the car. So we're driving at this point, and then he asked me, he was like, so are you going home or are you coming home with me? I'm gonna go home. He was like, all right, well, I'm gonna ask you again when we get closer to the house because you might change your mind. And I'm just like, no, I'm not changing my mind at all. This was a terrible date. I want to get the fuck out of here. I don't want to be in this car right now. It was just such the most awkwardest car ride, because do you know how frustrating it is to be in a car with somebody when you have miles to go and you still have to drive yourself home? Like, I still have to drive back to your house anyway to get to my car. And I'm thinking like, damn, if that was the case, I should have just met him at the restaurant. So next time a guy asks me to go out on a date, I might consider driving myself to the date, because I really don't want to be stuck in a situation where I like have to drive back with you. And the fact that he even had the audacity to ask me to come back to his house, mind you, at this time it's like 1 o'clock in the morning, like 1, probably almost 2, like it was 1 in the morning and you're asking me to come back to your house. So if you're asking me that, obviously it's because you want to try something. And honestly, I didn't want to go home with him and be trying to fight him off of me all night, like trying not to do something. And it's like, I'm just not into you. I don't want to come to your house. I don't want to spend the night with you. I want to go home like now. Like, if I could have had you drop me off at home, I would have had you drop me off at home. But I need to get back to my car so I can drive my car back to the house. So you guys, that was the worst date I have ever been on. Do you have a horrible dating experience? Let me know what your dating experience was down in the comment section below. So yeah, that is my crazy ass date, the worst date I have ever been on in my life. If you guys like videos like this, definitely give this video a thumbs up, and I will continue to bring these types of videos here to my channel. And until next time, bye.